Hi, and welcome back to CEO Money. I'm Tommy Havey, and we got our special guest in the studio, NFL star Byron Williams from the Green Bay Packers, New York Giants. And he was the former president of the Texas Football Players Association. And now he's been invited to join the advisory board for the Concussion Institute in Atlanta, studying CTE and the impact of concussions in football. How you doing, Byron?
Great. Thanks, Tommy. How you doing?
Doing good. You know, you played in the NFL for 12 seasons. What do you attribute your longevity to? Because that sport, it's typically about 3 years.
Right. Yeah, it's mainly the chemistry and the teams you play for. Of course, just being consistent over the course of the years. But, I was one of the guys that was fortunate to play and have an opportunity to play as much as I did.
And then you've done some amazing things. You give back to the community with kids camps. Right.
Yeah, I've been involved with camps ever since I retired. I did about 8 this summer. And then I get former guys, some current guys, I participate. We do camps together. I did 8 camps for Terrell Owens and other guys, Brandon Carr, Flozell Adams, just a lot of guys that want to get back and have a good message for the kids.
Well, I know your involvement in anybody that asks you to help in charities and camps, you're always the first one to volunteer, and it's always been very nice to see. But for the past 4 years, you were the president of the NFLPA, the Dallas chapter.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about what went on there and.
Well, one of the things that I saw, we all are aging, and we've been affected by some of the blows and some of the things that happen as you get older. And so I was seeing players coming to the meeting that would get to the gas station, and sometimes they'll forget to go home or hear stories where they forgot to let their garage down or misplace their keys. So I started talking to their spouses, and so one of the things I had to do was find find out information that we can do to help guys for us, hospitals, services, clinics, to educate ourselves on what is it out here that we can have a wholesome lifestyle. And so that was one of the things I did. I created a healthcare initiative so we can all be plugged into what that is.
So tell me a little bit more about that. And is that what you're doing now with the Atlanta Institute, or is that something that you were doing with the Players Association?
It's a combination of both, but when the concussion lawsuit came out, they had at one time 3,000 guys sign up, and then 8,000 guys sign up. So we had a deadline date of August the 7th, and so it was our mission to get all the guys to sign up out here. We got about 20 to 25,000 retired players across the country, and we got 34 chapters across the country where guys are connected to. So there were different types of entities that we had to try to do a campaign to make sure these guys signed up by August the 7th. So we got close to 20,000 guys on the concussion lawsuit. So now we can get them assessed through the baseline assessment programs, and then their families. And then, they might not be suffering right now, but maybe 5 years down the road, there's money set aside that guys can tap into to get health-related issues that they're faced with.
Is that what the NFL set up a fund for that?
Well, no, it's basically through the lawsuit. It came out to be about $1 billion lawsuit. But the NFLPA has money set aside for players with the 8A plan, things that they are faced with as they get older. And then with the last collective bargaining agreement, we set up a program called the Trust. And that trust is there to set up to assist the players in these different pillars and programs, like if they want to go get their masters, if they want to, go to the hospital. There's money set aside to help out in those types of situations.
So how early out of football can they transition to do something like that?
As soon as possible now. They just tap in, they sign up on the website, and if they need any kind of things, like for us getting going to a business degree, that you can go and get your entrepreneur and get your master's, all kind of programs that we have set aside that players can tap into.
That's tremendous, actually. So tell me about the new collective bargaining agreement. It's coming up in 3 years?
Correct, yes.
And kind of what are your concerns?
Well, I think, mainly the collective bargaining agreements for the current players. With the retired player side, we are always looking for cost of living adjustments, better plans for insurance, and we also look for a little bit more on our retirement plans. So they have set aside for cost of living adjustments, and now we can tap into a lot more money. And of course, they're adding money to our pension as we get older. But the next 3 years, they are getting prepared to have a walkout or stoppage. But I think for us retired players, they're going to continue to increase. And we're also trying to get 1 and 2 year players that's out there vested as well, so they can take advantage of some of these benefits.
So many people out there talk about what NFL players are making today.
Right.
And they think everybody that's played in the NFL is worth millions and millions of dollars, and why should they be protected or have insurance, or they knew what they were doing. Can you speak to the reality of that in life? And
well, over the course of the year, the game has got better. Of course, the pay is better. You have people don't look at the TV deals that the owners are signing. People don't look at the sponsors that these guys are having. And, off the field, you got guys now get huge contracts with Nikes and Under Armours. So that's the nature of the beast. But, guys who played in the 50s and the 60s and the 70s, we are trying to now position those guys and their families. And we have a lot of players who have passed away and their spouses, widows and stuff, that we're trying to help those people too. And so some people don't see all the things behind the scenes. But I think as a family and as a fraternity and as former players, we are trying to put everything in place to where we can support all people on all different levels.
Yeah, because just because you played in the NFL, and as I was mentioning earlier when I introduced you, that really if you make it 3 years in the NFL, that's big. What is the vesting period actually in the NFL before you get any type of retirement?
Yeah, it's 3 years now. It's actually 2 years and 3 games. If you play 3 games, that's considered a year. And now, this 53-man roster, they usually have 10 young guys on the practice roster. But in some point, it's 53 guys. And that's the main thing. We try to make sure that we can go back and get other players vested and they can, reap some of the benefits, because there's a lot of money going into the collective bargaining agreement as well as the pension benefits.
Well, listen, I really appreciate you being on the show and bringing us up to speed. The concussion issue is huge, not only for the NFL players, but for kids from elementary school, playing all the way through high school and then college. And I think and I believe that they're addressing that. And
correct. They're correct. In fact, the NFL have a program called that we go back into the schools to educate the coaches, and a heads-up program, how to hit and how to make contact. So there are things in place that we are really putting in place to help.
Listen, and it's working, because I see it out there today, too, with my kids. I really appreciate you being on the show. It's Byron Williams. Sorry, Byron, I've only known you for 20 years. Can you tell the audience how to reach you, or where to learn more about the concussion protocol? Yeah,
well, you can Google concussion, NFL concussion, but, I'm on Twitter at Byron Williams, and BW Resources is my website. Football Minicamp is another website, but mainly we do have a lot of active players here in the Metroplex that's doing a lot of community type service, and that's what it's all about.
Man, I sure appreciate it, and I want to thank everybody for being on the show today. Michael Yorba.
Thank you.
Mervyn Price.
Thank you, Tommy.
Bring us up to speed. I'm Tommy Habib for CEO Money. Till next time.
Thank you for listening to CEO Money. If you would like to be a guest on our show or know someone who should be on our show, please contact us at info@wfn1.com or our website, wfn1.com. If you would like to reach any of our guests, please visit us at wfn1.com. Join us on Twitter at WFN Live or our Facebook page at WFN Live. We will be back tomorrow with more great interviews and ahead-of-the-curve information you just can't get anywhere else.
CEO Money is sponsored by WF News 1 Incorporated. Views and opinions heard on CEO Money are not necessarily the opinion of this station or its management. Material on this program is intended for general information only and should not be taken as specific investment, tax, or legal advice.